Hello everyone, my name is Emma Larkin and welcome to Storytime. I'm so happy to be here with you today to read 3 lovely books to you, and this is all part of the Ireland Reads Week where we have great fun reading books and looking at the lovely pictures. And so the great people in Kerry Library, they asked me to read some stories for you. And I thought, wouldn't that be lovely? Because I love writing stories and I love reading stories. And I'm just so happy to share these 3 wonderful books with you today. So my name is Emma Larkin and I'm a writer, but I'm also a mom and I'm someone who loves running, playing football, reading, writing, having lots of fun. And today I'm going to read 3 stories for you, as I said. Now, here they are. So the first one is this beautiful book called Peggys Adventures in Science. Now, so here we go reading Peggys Adventures in Science. And this book is written by Shane Bergen and Declan Fahey, and it's illustrated by Steve McCarthy. And as you can see, it's available in your library. There's the library tag on it there. There's loads of lovely books in the library. So this book is about Peggy, who is a brave Cocker Spaniel, that's a type of dog, and her exciting adventures in science. So with the help of her friends, Peggy launches into space, learns to tidy and recycle, and races a train across the country and grows beautiful flowers in her garden. Doesn't that sound like fun? So let's get reading. Now, Anya is an astronaut. She works in a laboratory and is very happy to see Peggy. Peggy is so happy to see Anya too. It's her first time to visit Anya at work. Wow, look at this place. Can I have a go? Can I fly the spaceship? Peggy asks shyly. Yes, of course, but you'll need a spacesuit first, says Anya. Why don't you try on my old spacesuit and see if that fits, says Anya. Anya, we have a problem, sighs Peggy. The arms of your spacesuit are far too long for me and my ears are stuck. It's not fair. I really want to go into space. See, it's a little too big for Peggy, isn't it? Don't worry, Peggy. We can make you a spacesuit that fits perfectly. We'll have to hurry though. The spaceship leaves in 10 minutes. Everybody in the laboratory starts cutting and gluing and fixing and sewing faster and faster and faster until the spacesuit is finished. Look at me, says Peggy. I'm ready for blast off. Much better. Great work. Peggy is on a spacewalk. She can see the moon and the planet Earth and the sun. It's so exciting. I love being an astronaut, says Peggy, as her tail wags comfortably in her spacesuit. See, there she is saying, I love being an astronaut. Clean up, Peggy. Peggy the Cocker Spaniel and her friend Joy have lost their ball. They are searching for it in the field near Joy's home. What are we going to do, Joy? The field is full of rubbish. There are glass bottles, plastic cartons, car tires and old newspapers everywhere. This is awful, says Peggy. Joy has an idea. I'll ask my granddad. He'll know what to do. Grandad arrives and he slowly looks around the messy field. We'll never find that ball until we clean up all this rubbish, he says. We can sort the rubbish as we work. Let's put the plastic with the plastic, the glass with the glass, and the cardboard with the cardboard. Then we can recycle it. After some work, the rubbish is tidied away. Without all that rubbish, this field is really pretty. Now I can see that it's full of plants with flowers. I'm going to plant some more, says Grandad. Then we can all enjoy the field. Grandad! Peggy! Shouts Joy. I found the ball. It was under this hat all along. Joy hits the ball with the hurley. It flies up into the sky. Fast as lightning, Peggy runs to catch it. This is so much fun. We are so lucky to have a field to play in, barks Peggy as she jumps in the air. See, are they having great fun? And that Peggy saying, we are so lucky. That was nice. That was a nice bit about recycling, wasn't it, boys and girls? So we've seen Peggy go on a spacewalk, and we've seen her help with recycling and clean up a field. But what's Peggy going to do next? Now, this says, catch up, Peggy. So Peggy, the Cocker Spaniel, has travelled by train to meet her friend Ben. She has a big surprise for him. It's his 6th birthday. As soon as the train pulls into the station, Peggy jumps off the train to give Ben a big hug. Look, there's Ben. See that lovely train? And there's Ben and Peggy. Oh no! Peggy has left Ben's present on the train by mistake, and the train is leaving the station. What is she going to do? Wait! Don't worry, Peggy, says Ben. We can catch up with the train at the next station. We'll have to be quick. First they hail a taxi, but there's too much traffic. Then they catch a double-decker bus, but there's no sign of the train. Next they jump onto a Lewis. We're getting closer, Ben, shouts Peggy. What an adventure! Finally, they hop on a boat to take them across the river Liffey to the train station. Wow, what an adventure! They must be in Dublin, boys and girls, I think, because the Lewis is only in Dublin, isn't it? And the river Liffey, that's in Dublin too. At long last they catch the train and Peggy can get Ben's present. I wonder what it is, asks Ben. Happy birthday, says Peggy. Thanks, Peggy. What is it? What could it be? What shape is it, boys and girls? It's a circle, isn't it? Oh, wow! New wheel covers for my chair. I love them. Thank you, Peggy, says Ben, as they rush off to Ben's birthday party. Aren't they so cool? New wheel covers for Ben's chair. Wow. Well, what's Peggy going to do next? Grow up, Peggy, this is called. Peggy the Cocker Spaniel is visiting Granny Ruby to see her beautiful flower garden. Peggy asks Granny Ruby to help her grow a flower of her own. I'll teach you, says Granny Ruby. I've grown flowers every year since I was a little girl. And that's a long time ago, laughs Granny Ruby. Every year I start off by sowing the seeds in the soil. I've learned that each seed needs water, light and food to grow into a plant, explains Granny Ruby. The water comes from the rain and the plant makes its own food from the sun, air and soil. Let's hope it grows up big and tall very soon, says Peggy. Buzz, buzz, buzz. See all the bees? And their lovely flowers. When Peggy visits Granny Ruby a few weeks later, Peggy's plants are huge. Their flowers are surrounded by bees. Are those bees eating my flowers? Asked Peggy. No, laughs Granny Ruby. The bees are our friends. They help the flowers to grow. Oh, Granny Ruby, I'm so happy there are so many things working together to make the garden grow, says Peggy. Thank you for teaching me how to grow things. I can't wait to have my own garden when I grow up. And that's Peggy's Adventures in Science. So I hope you enjoyed that story. So our next book in story time today, boys and girls, is another Johnny Magory story. And it is called Johnny Magory in the Magical Wild. I love Johnny Magory stories because they're about a boy called Johnny and he loves adventures and he loves being outside in nature and he has lots of fun things happening in these stories. So this book is called Johnny Magory and in the Magical Wild, and it's written by Emma-Jane Leeson and it's illustrated by Kim Shaw. Yeah, there's Johnny. So it says, I'll tell you a story about Johnny Magory and the adventures he has with his trusty dog, Rory. He's a clever boy who's 6 years old. He's usually good, but he's sometimes bold. Every morning when Johnny wakes up, he slurps his apple juice from his cup. He gobbles his porridge with jam or honey. He doesn't mind which, they're both so yummy. And when he finishes, he licks his lips to say, "That was grand, Mammy. Now what'll we do today?" Every day they do something new, like go to the beach or make and do. But today his mammy has to clean their house, and Johnny can't stay as quiet as a mouse. So into his old exploring clothes he jumps, and out to the garden he goes with a bump. Johnny's faithful dog Rory meets him with a big woof. He'll play for hours, doing all kinds of funny stuff. As they're disappearing, his mommy gets a hunch and quickly shouts, "Don't forget to come in for lunch." Johnny loses track of time, the same way as his dad, but Mammy doesn't like it. It makes her kind of mad. He runs back and kisses her, promising he has it timed. Johnny never means to be late, it just slips his mind. So off to the bottom of the garden he did bowl, to his little secret passage down a rabbit hole. Johnny's hidden tunnel leads into the magical wild, where he has special friends who'll only talk to a child. I can't wait to find out, boys and girls, who are his secret friends. He knows Mr. Fox, Mrs. Squirrel and their families too. Johnny's their only human friend and they love him through and through. And on the Friday morning, when Johnny and Rory visit, he hears his friends cheering, so he shouts out, "What is it?" Mr. Badger greets him with his usual friendly grin. "We're having a forest party, come and join in." Now Johnny loves to party, he loves to sing and dance. He knows he's to be back for lunch, but he can't miss this chance. So deeper into the forest they go, Mr. Badger behind, until Johnny's sparkling eyes see the biggest party he'll ever find. Oh, look at this. Giant frogs are playing silver guitars as red squirrels blow horns on pink toy cars. White swans are plucking golden fiddles, while grey squirrels sing, "Hey diddle diddle." Hedgehogs are doing mad bomb dives and having the time of their lives, splashing into the freezing forest lake to cheers from the foxes and the corn crakes. While Johnny dances for hours with the guys, Rory and the frogs keep doing high fives. Then Johnny hears a funny noise and he knows it's not Rory who's singing with the crows. It's his belly rumbling with nothing to munch. He's played so much, he's missed his lunch. He knows he's going to be in trouble. He feels a bit anxious and in a muddle. Johnny says goodbye to everyone. Today has been great, the best fun. Then Rory thanks them for all the crack and they run home to get quickly back. They crawl fast through the secret hole with Johnny's clothes as black as coal. He's heading towards the red back door when he hears his mommy's big roar. Johnny has been very, very bold, not doing what he was clearly told. He said he meant to be back on time, but he's sent to his room for his crime. Later that evening, when he's sorry for what he's done, Mammy puts him in the bath and he tells her about all the fun. From dancing with the mad hedgehogs and playing music with the frogs, swimming with the beautiful swans, to waving the fairies' magic wands. Johnny snuggles into his bed, the day's adventures in his head. His mammy kisses him goodnight. Good night, Johnny. And then she turns out the light. So, is that a nice story about Johnny Magory? I love reading about Johnny Magory. Look, these are all his friends. See, it says, can you name Johnny's friends? Can you remember who they are? I think is that Mr. Badger? And the frog, what's the frog's name? When we go back and see, I can't remember. What was the frog's name? What's his name? Mr. Frog. No, that's Mr. Badger. Mr. Badger. Giant frogs. I think he's just called Mr. Frog, is he? Miss Squirrel and the Swan. And look at the hedgehogs. And who's that? I think that's the corncrake, is it? But they are all so fun. And Johnny Magory has lots of adventures. So I'm going to read you another one now. Isn't that exciting? So the next Johnny Magory story is also really exciting. So where is it now? Here it is. So this is Johnny Magory and the Wild Water Race. And it is written by Emma-Jane Leeson and illustrated. That means the drawings are done by Kim Shaw. And I think the drawings are just absolutely lovely in this, boys and girls. And you're going to see some really fun characters. So let's dive in. So Johnny Magory and the Wild Water Race. I'll tell you a story about Johnny Magory, his sister Lily May, and their trusty dog Rory. The clever two are 3 and 7 years old. They're usually good, but they're sometimes bold. So boys and girls, if you were listening carefully to the last story, which was Johnny Magory in the Magical Wild, then you'll have noticed that Lily May, his sister, she wasn't in that book. So she's a new character in this book, isn't she? So that's fun to see what Johnny and Lily May get up to together in this story. And of course, Rory is there, their trusty dog. So here we go. On most summer evenings, the family take a walk down by the old canal where they sing and talk. The midges are out in force taking bites from everyone, but nobody really minds because they're having so much fun. They see their grandad Paddy making flower pots for his boat. Johnny and Lily May run over and snuggle into his old coat. Sure, look at Paddy says, will you join me on a cruise? There's a problem with the lock gate and there's no time to lose. Johnny loves his grandad's barge where he can wander and roam. There's a kitchen, a bathroom and 2 bedrooms in the floating home. Mommy puts on the life jackets as Paddy cranks the engine to life. The kids love the orange life vests with the white reflective stripe. The canals were made years ago for barges, Paddy shouts, for a path through Ireland so merchants could get about. Their faithful horses would pull the barges full of cargo along. The men would laugh and talk and sing a boatman's song. Johnny loves listening to Paddy as he stands and helps him steer, and he learns more about Ireland's canals every single year. Johnny spots Mr. Otter waving like mad from the bank. He somersaults into the water from the diving plank. We're going to have a race. Will you and Rory join in? That'll be grand, says Johnny. Sure, we might even win. Ahoy there, shouts Paddy as they approach the broken lock. He ties up Coola, the barge, on the black wooden block. Mammy and Lily May pick blackberries as the men start fixing the gate. Daddy warns Johnny and Rory, don't go wandering and come back late. I promise I'll be back on time, Johnny says to his smiling dad. He never means to get in trouble or make his parents mad. Mr. Otter leads them down the steep bank to a special place, to a stream that runs under the canal to have a water race. The duck family are there with Heron and lots of frogs. Dusty, the old barge horse, shows them a raft made of logs. Dusty takes the thick rope, one of a mighty Irish team. He's going to pull Johnny and Rory down the shallow stream. Mr. Otter has a fine boat made from moss and twigs and rope. The duck's boat is made of lily pads and is the fastest, they hope. Heron flaps his wings. On your marks, get set, go. The race begins with everybody lined up in a row. Mrs. Pike joins in too, so the stream is pretty tight. But steady Dusty pulls them along, a job he's done all his life. Mr. Otter's boat gets tangled up in the thick bulrush. The ducks are so busy quacking, they sail into a bush. Mr. Trout and Mrs. Pike swim so fast they are nearly there. But they see a swarm of flies and start feasting elsewhere. Faithful Dusty keeps on going one slow step at a time. Johnny shouts, hooray, as they pass the finish line. Miss Swan says, you're the winners, there's no shadow of a doubt. Johnny rubs the horse's ears and laughs, we're happy out. Rory hears Mammy shouting, so they have to make a run back up to the canal to tell Lily May all about the fun. Mammy is fierce angry as Johnny appears from up the slope. You put the heart crossways on me, she says, untying the rope. I'm really sorry, says Johnny. I didn't mean to be late. Ah, don't worry, says Paddy. We're just finished the gate. Everyone gets back on the barge and Johnny sits beside Lily May. And as Mammy gets berries and ice cream, he tells her about his day. Lily May hears about the race and all his exciting friends. He fills her in on Dusty, Heron, Mr. Swan and Miss Swan and how it ends. Lily May can't wait until she's old enough to go too. I'm dying to join Johnny and Rory on the adventures they do. Wish Macushla, Mommy says to her small daughter, you'll have many more years to enjoy life on the water. When they get home, they brush their teeth and climb into their beds and dream of Ireland's magical waterways fill their tired heads. Johnny can't help wondering what his next adventure will be, and he promises Lily May, I'll bring you along with me. Isn't that lovely? And look here again, you see some of Johnny's friends at the end. Can you name them? So I think that's Miss Heron, isn't it? That's Mr. Pike, and that's Rory, and that's Dusty the horse. And who's this guy again? We have to flick back and see who that is, because I can't remember. Who is that guy? Oh, is that Mr. Otter? It is, that's Mr. Otter, and there's Duck. So that was it. That was Johnny Magory and the Wild Water Race, and I hope you enjoyed hearing that story, boys and girls. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I can't wait to be back soon reading more stories for you at Storytime.